Hello everyone, it's Reverend Deanna Cox here. I am out at my acreage, my brand new acreage to us. Some of you may have heard us talk about it in person, seen some pictures, but if you haven't, my husband and I, our family, has just purchased this acreage, including the wonderful old house that is behind us. And so this is where I am recording from for the midweek reflection for the last week of August, if you can believe it. I'm working here, cleaning up, and also waiting for the electrician to show up to upgrade our power service. Now, I wanted to talk to you today about following our bliss, or filling our lives with joy, seeking the good, prosperity. There's lots of ways of catchphrases out there these days that talk about those kinds of things. So following our joy, following our bliss versus standing up and facing the challenges of life, and perhaps sometimes encountering a richer, deeper joy, perhaps, after having done that. And sorry, I'm a little dark here. Anyway, we shall carry on. The acreage behind me, whenever we tell people about it, the first thing most of them say is, well, you have your work cut out for you, or that's a really big project. And truthfully, it's even something that the people that we're buying it off of, they wanted us to get an inspection done first so that we knew what we were getting into. And to be honest, those are very questions that Steve and I ask ourselves all the time. I apologize for the wobbling. I was propped up on something, and now I'm holding it in my hand, so hence the jiggling and dropping and all that stuff. So choosing our joy versus maybe seeking deeper, richer joy that comes out of the growth, the challenge of facing the uncertain. It's not just hard stuff. It's the uncertainty, unfamiliar. I mentioned in the first little clip that we'd bought this acreage and that everybody comments on how much hard work it is. And some of it is physically hard. Deciding what needs to be done first sometimes is when there's such a long list. It's kind of like trying to turn our world into God's kingdom. There is such a long list. Where on earth do you start first? So, and that's hard. That's hard. Maybe you choose the wrong thing. I don't know. Maybe grand intentions turn really bad. You know what I mean? Like, there is hard. Don't get me wrong. There is hard in what we have set out to do. But a lot of it isn't so much hard as it is different. We are using much different muscle groups in doing renovation work here. At least I am. My job is I sit at a desk. My husband does climb up and down ladders and haul stuff every day, so physically he's used those muscle groups a little bit more than I do sitting at my desk and preaching on Sunday. But so a lot of it is just using different, like it's not necessarily hard, but sometimes it's so different it feels hard. And I think that's what we encounter in the world, and especially if we are trying to live as people of faith in this world, the scriptures that we're going to talk about this Sunday talk about God's dwelling place and what it means to be the bread of life and for others, and that there's the Gospel of John, and from chapter 6, the end of chapter 6. The exact passages that I'm talking about were in the description of the first little clip, which I hope these two will be spliced together so it'll flow endlessly. Well, not seamlessly, because, it is me. It'll flow from one to the other. So, Gospel of John 6, Jesus is talking about being the bread of life, and I talked last week about what that means, that following Jesus isn't always easy. It's difficult, it's challenging, and there's a lot of uncertainty because it's unfamiliar often, not always, but it is unfamiliar to the way the world works. And so at the latter part of chapter 6 in John's Gospel, it talks about how actually many of the followers left. And they were asking Jesus, if this is so hard, why should we accept it? And Jesus said, well, does this offend you? And then he's like, well, if it does, go follow somebody else. And then they're like, well, who do we follow? You are the word, the way, the truth, the life. You are who we should follow. That perked my attention because I think the message of Jesus, I talked a bit about this last week in person service. If you want to catch some of that, it's on our DKR United YouTube channel. It's the full service from August 18th, I think it is. Yeah. And, well, the last week, anyways, I can't do math very well in my head. And watch that sermon reflection if you want some more on that. But the saying that following Jesus isn't always easy, and that that's what we're called to. We're called to, I think we think that his message of love and inclusion, that it's so comforting. That's where I was going. We hear that Jesus is so comforting, and he loves everybody, and wouldn't it be a wonderful world if we just loved everybody? And we forget that loving everybody is often hard. Not necessarily, like I said, not really hard, but hard because it's unfamiliar. Just when we think, okay, inclusion means this, that we treat women equally, for example. Well then, and we're like, okay, I've got this, that makes sense. It's familiar to me now. I understand it. Yes, I can do this. Well, and then we enter into a realm of transgender women. And then it's unfamiliar again. It's uncertain. It's challenging. It's frustrating because we don't know, we don't understand, and sometimes asking the questions is hard. And so we often, like the disciples at the end of John 6, or the followers, I guess, often when it gets hard like that, people step away. And it's mostly because I think those those muscles, like I said, the muscles aren't being exercised. Those muscles that help us discern, that help us grow through change, we get comfortable and they haven't been used or exercised. And so it is hard. So this is the thing though. Do we follow our bliss? Or do we seek perhaps something richer and fuller by facing the uncertainty, the unfamiliar, the unpredictability, the challenges, the hard in life? Now, in the first comments in the first video, I stressed, please do not take this in any sort of way as a suggestion that any person must stay in an abusive, oppressive, or otherwise harmful situation. That is not what I am suggesting. I am merely talking about an easy road or perhaps a road that takes some effort. That is my point. So please, please take care. Seek help if you need. And don't stay in harm. But we're going to talk on Sunday about what does it mean to dwell in God's house. Because if dwelling isn't merely sitting, I don't think. Dwelling is living. It's action. What does it mean to dwell in God? To dwell in God's house? What does it mean to follow Jesus? And thank you for sticking through the hard and the uncertainty of this midweek reflection as I sought out better cell reception. I hope you get a little peek at the bliss that I am following here at my home, my new home. And may God's joy and abundance surround you this day and all the days of your life. In the challenges you are facing, may you know that you are not alone. There are people out there digging in and working hard alongside you, and God is dwelling with you. Amen. Bye, folks.